everyone. It's been a while since I've shared a video with you. The end of the school year is always chaotic, and I felt like this year we actually went longer than we normally do. And then very shortly after I was out of school, my mom has come up to Vermont and been visiting. So I have spent most of my time with her and have not really had a lot of time to do a lot of videoing. However, I think we're in for a treat today because this is really sort of a garden themed video. I'm going to give you an update on my own garden, which has exploded. And even by the time this video comes out, it will be even more explosive with cucumbers coming and tomatoes and the garlic ready to be harvested, the lettuce on its second round. So things are really growing beautifully this summer. We've had a hot summer. Not extremely hot, but hot. And then a couple of days, we get a nice little rain. So the garden is doing great. So I wanted to give you an update on both the vegetable garden and the flower garden. And in this video, I do harvest the garlic scapes. So I will share a little bit about that with you. The real treat is when my mom is visiting, we have a local garden tour here in Manchester, Vermont, that is absolutely spectacular. It's called the Seven Springs Garden and Sculpture Park, and it's a private home, and he opens that home up to visitors a couple of days a week to just come and see the incredible 5 acres of gardens that he has put together over the years, and it's really, really lovely. So I'm going to take you along on that. We had a phenomenal day, and it was just too good not to share with all of you. And finally, I'm going to wrap up with a little bit of a thrift haul. While my mom's been here, we've done a little bit of thrifting, and I think I have enough here to share with you. And as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking actually it fits in perfectly with this video because a lot of the things that I have picked up have a sort of outdoor garden theme to them. So I will share with you that haul as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video as we take you along to some of our favorite places here in Vermont, and then share a thrift haul with all of you. Thanks for watching. I wanted to give you a quick garden update. So in these 2 buckets here, I planted seed potatoes. And you can see they have come up beautifully. So underneath there, in probably a month or so, I will be able to dig for potatoes. And each half that I put in there will probably produce several small potatoes. And the big update is today I picked my garlic scapes, and I will show you that in just a minute. But you can see a couple of rows of garlic, now without their scapes because I just picked them. Look at the lettuce. It's absolutely going crazy. I've already eaten some, as you can see. So we've got several rows of mesclun and green small baby leaf lettuce. And this is Swiss chard. Colorful, beautiful Swiss chard. These are purple onions, red onions. Another row of lettuce. Some radishes. These are bush beans. I believe these are purple. And up the trellis are snow peas or sugar snap peas. And you can see they have some flowers, so pretty soon I will be getting some pea pods. In the second bed is more garlic. So I think I planted probably about 25 heads of garlic, and so I'll have 25 scapes. Some cucumbers with lots and lots of blossoms. Several tomatoes, and I am trying to be very good about pinching and pruning below the flowers. I don't usually do that, so we will see how that works this year. This is a delicata squash. There are 2 of those. And finally, another couple rows of bush beans, and these are yellow beans. And actually, something new this year I planted, and it doesn't look like much yet, but this is a Concord grapevine. And you can see if I can get the, it's got some blooms coming out, so that will turn into a grapevine. But really, I'm so excited about the garden. So let's take a look at the garlic scapes. So here is my pile of garlic scapes, and you'll see they're twisty, turny, curly part that grows out of the hardneck garlic. They're really cool. They're very spirally, and at the top of them, this, if left, this would turn into a flower. Probably looks something like the flower on a chive. So what you don't use is, you're not going to use that part. So I'm going to snip off the flower and throw that part into the compost. And then on the other side of the curlicue, there's the hard part that grew into the plant, and you're not really going to use that. You're going to snip that off once it gets a little bit softer. So it's almost like a different color green. It's a lighter green, and then it turns to darker green. So I'm going to snip that off too. And then you're left with this little piece here as your garlic scape, the usable part of the garlic scape. And I have made garlic scape pesto. I have just kind of chopped it up and sauteed it in butter and used it on pasta. But I think I'm going to try something new this year. I'm going to cover it in olive oil, salt, and pepper, and just roast it and let it get all soft and cooked. And then you can just eat it on anything. You can put it on a hamburger, you can put it on a steak, you can put it over chicken, you can put it in pasta. So that's what I'm going to do with my garlic scapes this year. But first, I have to take all of these little curlicues and snip off both ends, the flowering end and the harder part where it grew into the plant. So I will get these going and put them in the oven for some roasted garlic scapes. Before a flower garden update, I took a quick trip to the farm stand. This is one of our favorite spots. It has the most gorgeous hanging baskets and annuals, as well as perennials. And the bonus is they have a little farm stand where they sell their own fresh produce, as well as other local items such as homemade sourdough bread, jams, jellies, honey, you name it, they have it. And it's all delicious and such a beautiful sight. Things have really started to fill in this little flower garden along the stone wall of our patio. You can see some of the oranges and purples, and those are the annuals that I got at the farm stand just to give it a little bit of color. This allium bulb is amazing. Even though the flowers have gone by, I still keep it because it adds such interest to the garden. But you can see there are a lot of things that have yet to bloom. And so mid-July, my garden will be bursting with color. This is the other side where there's not yet a lot of color. Some things have gone by, unfortunately, but there's so many more flowers to come, including daisies and rudbeckia. And I planted some bulbs that will be coming up, gladiola bulbs. And there is, again, that purple and orange, just to give it a little color. Some Russian sage on the end, all looking beautiful. These gardens, called the Seven Springs in my hometown, are absolutely stunning. The owner opens up his property 2 days a week so people can view these absolutely incredible gardens. Over 5 acres of gardens, his own house and a guest house. There are different styles of gardens. His wife was the inspiration behind the gardens, and she's since passed away, and now these are kept up by many gardeners. But it's an absolute treat. It starts out walking down this little path, almost like a boardwalk, into the wooded garden with that adorable little stone building. And there is just all kinds of pines and deciduous trees, and just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous views as you walk down there. When you exit the woodland gardens, you are treated to this amazing mountain view and incredible field dotted with gorgeous sculptures and gardens over its 5 acres. The owner stated that he just picks the sculptures because he likes them. They have no particular meaning. If he finds something that he really loves, he commissions or purchases it and places it somewhere on his property. And those are the views looking east. Here's an interesting sculpture situated in the middle of this small dahlia garden with the most interesting color leaves, foliage, and an orange dahlia about to bloom. A couple of them, as you can see, have bloomed. And in the distance there are these 2 sheep, big little fat sheep sitting there, one of my favorite sculptures. And here's this path, this brick path that makes a large oval. Here's a better look at those 2 sheep standing so peacefully in the field. You can see the house in the background there, and these are some of the flower beds, again, with various sculptures placed perfectly. Grasses, various types of grasses and shrubbery, as well as perennial, and some annual, mostly perennial. Here's an incredible look at this incredible view facing east. Just acre upon acre of gorgeous gardens and perfectly placed sculptures. It was really a treat and very inspirational. We're getting closer to the Japanese garden, and you can see these white willow bushes surrounding that curved bench and sculpture as we head toward that beautiful garden. And to get there, you can cross over this little footbridge, and you can see just the incredible different greens, yellow green and blue green and lime green, just every different shade of green in this beautiful garden. Many of these plants are shade plants. It was fairly thickly planted. There's a red Japanese maple, a couple of those, and grasses, and all just incredibly serene and beautiful. Not a pipe or... And a perfect sculpture to end our tour, the Thinker. And these gardens left us much to think about. Okay, so it's time for that thrift haul that I promised. And again, it's not a huge one, but as I said before, as I look over some of the items, they all have a summer vacation slash garden slash relaxation theme. And I will share them with you here. They're on my table here. And then I will also insert some pictures to show you how I have used these items, because they are all items that are sort of being used as we speak. So the first item I got that I absolutely love is this. Pull it up here. It's It's a tablecloth. It's an April Cornell tablecloth, really summery, beautiful print. But what makes this a little bit special is that, and I'm not sure if it came this way or if somebody did this on their own. If they did, it's genius. And if anybody is a good sewer, or you don't even have to be that good, I think you should do this. So basically, it's a tablecloth, a square tablecloth that they cut a slit and then cut out a little hole in the middle so that it goes around an umbrella table. I have one of those black iron tables and chairs out on the patio, and I've been using placemats and stuff, but I'm like, you know what, I really want to have a tablecloth out there, but I didn't want to rip up any of mine to be able to stick the actual umbrella through. So this was perfect, and I will insert a clip of what it looks like on. It really looks sweet, and the pattern is so pretty and summery, and I didn't have to do any of the sewing myself. It was just like that. I think it was like $3 at our local thrift store. So that was a favorite find this summer. The other item that I just recently got is this super cool, I think it's like tortoise shell ice bucket. It has a vintage look to it. I don't think it is vintage. You know, it's got the lid, and you just fill it with ice, so you can put some tongs in there and keep your drink, keep adding ice to your drink. But it just has that super cool retro look to it, and I loved it. It's not perfect condition. It is missing one of the little pieces of, I don't know if it's tortoise shell or whatever it is, or fake tortoise shell. But it looks really cool on the bar cart, and then it will look really cool if I pull it out onto the porch, fill it with ice so that people can keep their drinks nice and cold. So that also came from that same thrift store. As a matter of fact, I think everything did, with the exception of a couple things that were from a free pile. I did pick up this little Tre dish. Has a very summer. I've used it out to put olives in it or cheese. With the, it's got the lemon and the clam and the shell on there, and just very sweet and simple. It's not big at all. It's maybe 6 inches by 4 inches. So it's just a little appetizer type plate. But I like Tre pottery. This does have a mark, made in Italy for Tre. Not, I don't think it's old or anything, but actually it's a really useful size. So I picked that up. And then out on our porch, I found this little, it looks like a book set, but it's actually cards in there. There's trivia, who am I, and charades. So I just keep that out on the screened-in porch. And I know the first morning my mom was here, we had my husband reading us some trivia as we had our coffee. It's really kind of a, it's a really nice way to start the day. See if you can get a few trivia questions. But I love the way it came in this cute little case, and it looks like books in there, and it's tiny. It's maybe 4 or 5 inches, and it just sits on one of the side tables in the screened-in porch, and you can grab it and read a few and be done with it, or read through the whole thing. So that was $2.79 at the thrift store. Let's see. I also picked up sort of garden theme once again. They're just decorative. I'm on a bookshelf. I'm going to put them on the little shelves above where the TV is. There's like a couple of shelves up there, but there were 2 of them. So there were, one big and one small, kind of a gold color, a little bit 70s looking with the, not avocado, artichoke. This one has a mark on it, and this one has a price tag on it. So I don't think they're old. But I just really liked the way they look. There's something very architectural and interesting about an artichoke anyway. And these just sitting on a shelf for pure decor, I thought would look kind of cool. And I like to switch it up every now and again. I have, I keep the same stuff up most of the time, but every now and again, it's kind of fun to put something new on those shelves. So I did pick up those, and I think the big one was 4 and the small one was 2, or the big one was 6 and the small one was 4. So somewhere around, maybe $8, $8 to $10. And again, they're purely decorative, but they do add a little bit of interest to any shelf. The next item I got is not purely decorative. I will be using it. Like if you think about charcuterie and eating outside and entertaining a little bit in the summertime, it is this cutting board, block cutting board. But I loved, again, for me, it's all about the size. So if I have cutting boards, I have charcuterie boards, but they're huge. And this one is, maybe 14 by 10 or something like that. It's really not that big, and it's nice and thick. I washed it, scrubbed it, and then I put a little bit of cutting board oil on it. It doesn't have any markings or anything like that. But again, it's strictly for summertime entertaining out on the porch, some good cheese and crackers and pieces of fruit. And like I said, I did not have one this size, so I was actually really happy to get it. And I think it was $4. Let's see. This is just a little tiny cheese grater that I picked up for, I think it was 50 cents. It wasn't much. But I'm going to put a ribbon on it, and it will be a Christmas ornament for my daughter, who is a tremendous cook. So that will go on her tree. I also got this little copper bucket, and I did not get this at the local. I think I got this at the Goodwill, and really cute, small size, purely decorative, but it kind of fit with the garden theme. It's old. This is definitely old, and what I'm going to do is, this is just a fake plant. Stick a fake plant in it, and it gives a little bit of green inside. I do well with the outside gardening, vegetables and flowers. I don't have an indoor gardening green thumb. I struggle with that. So these are fake in here, but I think that they will at least bring some green to the indoors. And the last 2 items I'm going to share with you were actually free. The first was from like a free cycle site. And I got a bunch of these tiles, these ceramic tiles. And the people, actually, they had like a green room inside, and they used this on the floor, and I think maybe halfway up the wall. But I thought with my daughter's house project, and there's quite a few, there's probably like 2 or 3 boxes of these. You never know. Maybe she could use them. And if not, it's no big deal. I'm not out any money. There may be some cool use for them somewhere, but they're beautiful tile. They're made in Spain. And I just thought the color and the pattern was unique. And, I'm always kind of on the lookout for things that don't cost very much money that she may like or be able to use. And if not, then nobody's out anything. So I got a bunch of those. And the last item was actually from the dump. When you bring your garbage there's like a pile of stuff that's kind of too nice to be thrown out, and people set it there, and then other people can take a look at it and take something home if they like it. And I got this, see if I can get it in the picture. So you can see up tall, it's a little stand. Obviously it's in a little rough shape paint wise, but it has this leaf on it. So it's just a little side stand, like by a table, a chair out on the patio, place to put your drink or your book. Doesn't take up much room, but it's kind of old school. It's heavy, like heavy metal, and very chippy green paint. And my plan is to, wire brush it up a little bit, clean it up, and then spray paint it, probably black, because most of the furniture out there is black or kind of a lime green. And I could paint it again dark green, the color that it is, but I think I'll go with black. I think I have black spray paint, so I'll probably go with that. So again, it was sitting over in the pile that is like, help yourself, too nice to be thrown out. But somebody was getting rid of it. So it's going to end up out on my patio. So that's it for the haul for today. Thank you for sticking with me. And sometimes it's kind of fun to think about picking up things with a particular theme. And, you know, I love to garden, outside gardening. And so lots of these things fit in with that theme. And I will leave you today with some pictures of my thrifted items and how I am using them throughout my house. If you haven't visited us at relativelyrefined.com, please do. There's going to be some new items in the shop, as well as follow us on Instagram. And finally, please give this video a like and a share, if you will, and a comment and a thumbs up, because all of those help us get our content out there. And if you like this kind of content, it helps us know and gives us feedback, so we keep on continuing doing what we love to do. All right, until the next video, happy summer, and thanks again for watching.